Adi, congratulations on your new contract.
Thank you.
Are you pleased to get the deal done?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, obviously it's been a little bit of time. I think when the manager signed, which obviously was very important for the club, players, fans, staff alike. To be fair, because if you get continuity at the top end when things are going progressively well, as they have over the last nearly 5 years, or 5 for the gaffer, over 5 now, sorry, then people want to see that things are happening. It makes people calmer, and if you get calmer people, you get good work. So I think everybody was pleased when the gaffer's committed, and probably a little bit after that, conversations were going on, and if I'm being honest, through the summer, you're doing a lot of thinking about yourself and reevaluating the season and how you've performed as a coach, as a support to him. So a lot of reflection I had through the summer, and people see that as a sign of you're gearing up for something else, but you're not. That's how you should be. You should be reflective of, is your work still relevant to the players? Is the work still gaining momentum? And does he feel that you're still giving the support he needs, as being the number one person at the club? So there was a lot I had to go through. But yeah, it was good to get it done, and it's been nice to feel that the response, that people feel that it's an important step as well.
You talk about response. The response of fans was very positive towards that announcement as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we both have a pretty good relationship with the players, so it's always very nice. Some messages bantery from the players once they saw it. Some very respectful, others wait until the next day at training or whatever, and it should make you feel very humble. It always does me, because as I said at the time, your number one focus really is to make sure that they're okay and performing well, and the fact that they enjoy the work, and don't always agree with it at times, but they enjoy it, is a big thing to me as a coach. Yeah, it's a massive thing, the biggest thing. And if I didn't feel I could impact them anymore, because a lot of work with me now for 3, nearly 4 years, so if you didn't feel you could take them to the next step, that's when you start to think about, well, they may need another voice, or etc., or blah blah blah. But that was nice. Yeah, the fans, it's a little bit different for me. I'm not really that sort of person that has to engage with them all the time, and I think sometimes they have to understand that my work is my work, and I wouldn't go into an office where they work and maybe affect their place of work. And the training ground's our sanctuary. It's where we do our work. It's where we're able to be with the players, and sometimes they get the way they do with us, but that's working in a training ground environment. It has to be kept very close, very in-house, and then when we get the product right on the pitch, then the fans, which is what we're doing it for, that they see a good product and they like the way the team play, and the players get success from that, and that's how you build a club.
It's being on the training ground that you clearly most enjoy, being on the pitch.
Yeah. I love being on the grass. I love trying to improve people. I love trying to get messages across. I feel that's probably where I'm at my best. Yeah. I have many conversations with players and people away from the pitch. That it's probably in a different way that I do on the pitch. They would all say, and I'd be disappointed if they didn't, that I'm a very demanding coach, and I am. But that's only to get the best out of all of them. I'm in a privileged position. It's different for the gaffer. The gaffer picks the team. The gaffer is always the one who's seen as the man who's making the key decisions, which is right. For me, I can try and improve 25 players in a squad and be the same with each player. They have different strengths, and you have to work with people and work them out. And that's the bit I love about the coaching, is the different characters and the different personalities. How do you get the best out of those players within a team environment or an individual basis, and mirroring all that together. So the day I don't enjoy being on the grass, I won't be on it anymore, and I'll be doing something else.
Has it been a challenge to adapt and evolve the team from League Two to now the Championship?
Well, I think the gaffer's built 5 teams, hasn't he? I think in the time I've been here. I feel very privileged, Mark, to have worked with the players and the calibre of players I have from League Two through. You know, we had, as you know, we had an outstanding captain in Doyle at League Two, a brilliant player, fantastic personality, but some really good players, some strong players. Jordan Willis come through the academy, you know, Burgee through the academy, Jack Grimmer, fans' favourite, you know, all these players, and the emergence of Tom Bayliss and Shippers. It was a special year, the first year I came, and culminating in Wembley and blah, blah, blah. But then that you have to change. So you're evolving, you're building a team for League One to play in a bit more of an expansive way. Certainly in League Two, we didn't really play out from Burgee. We played good football from, you know, the back third, if you like, their defensive third. Some really good football, but we didn't really play out. In League One, it started to evolve. That team obviously finished 8th, and the gaffer was right. In that dressing room at Doncaster, the last game of the season, you know, it's one of the best speeches I think he's ever given. He was outstanding in that dressing room because he told him, I ain't good enough. I don't want to be 8th. You need to come back in from day one, trying to win the league. You know, the fact that the group did it is incredible, really, because we were probably half down below budget in League One. So that's another team. So there's the 3rd team. Into the Championship, I think the first year you're looking for leadership and you're looking for quality. Again, it's evolving. Obviously, the box midfield was brilliant in League One, but it's more of a challenge in the Championship. You've got better players. So evolving, whether it's 2 strikers or 3 strikers, that quality, you know, trying to attract signings is even more difficult because of the level of teams. So a real challenge for the gaffer and the recruitment team, and then, you know, that's one team. We did brilliant to get the points we did, and then last year it evolved again, and there's more new players, and then you had a fantastic season with an unbelievable start. So I think it's evolved. The challenge gets harder every year, and it certainly is going to be very tough this year. Teams are strengthened very well, but we got good players. I think people got to remember we got very good players at the football club. Yes, they need strengthening, of course, but so I think that's been sure for the manager. You know, he'd say it's very challenging, tiring for him, but he's put a lot of work in. But yeah, it's been interesting to coach 4/5 different teams, and to try and evolve it. Great challenge, some tough times, and some special moments. Yeah.
When we last chatted a few years back, I asked you your highlight of your time with CCFC, and it was a League Two playoff final.
Yeah.
Does that remain the case?
No.
What's the new highlight?
What's been the highlight? One of the highlights for me was the home performance against Fulham last year, just because of the wave that game got taken over in the second half. The verve around us as a group, the players, the speed in which they, you know, were taking a Premier League team apart, really. That was pretty special to be there and go, you know. I think there was 3 or 4 moments last year where I thought I didn't think we could play as well as that. And that's with no disrespect, that's being perfectly honest, because obviously I've come from an environment where you have to play the game in a certain way, and, you know, a lot of those players now are, you know, full internationals or whatever. They had to be at that level. You get some we've got, you know, we're lucky. We've got some that have been in that environment. Sheffield at Arsenal, and Fanky obviously, and now Casey, and you've had Jake Clark-Salter, you have Mats, you have John Sterling, who've been in that environment. You know, people, I think it's an interesting topic, of, you know, in terms of that, because people think they ain't got come from Chelsea. I read a lot. I think it's quite interesting for fans. They read a lot about that. It's about being at that level of player. We've been able to get some from Chelsea, yes, and of course then does it become part, because I was there, of course, because I've worked with them. But I worked with them as kids. They're now men. They've got children of their own. I think people have to remember that. They're different and I'm different. They may not believe that, but I am, from them. And I think that's an important point. Top players, young players, come from a lot of different environments, different clubs. You know, that's an interesting part. But Last year it was pretty special. It was a great ride. The fans enjoyed it. We played a great brand of football. But League One Championship was an outstanding team. An outstanding team. Yeah, incredible team. And the midfield box, when it changed to the three at the back, when that Fleetwood game, at half time, and Fads came on, and suddenly it just worked. It fitted the players. The evolution in the midfield box in League One was, that was special watching that. So some really nice moments in the last couple of years since obviously our chat, and an evolution of players and a lot of good players.
Now, we're in pre-season now. How's it been so far?
Well, again, it's been interesting. The boys are working tremendously hard, but we're light in certain areas of the group, and we're very strong with numbers in the other area of the group, and I think that's reflected in the work, and that's again the skill of the coaches and the manager, and working out with the fitness people what we need to be doing on a daily basis, challenging them tactically, but also there's been a lot of top end of the pitch. I think it's fair to say there's been a lot of top end focus on that, and we've been very pleased with how they're progressing from that area. And then, you drip feeding. So, some of the defensive situations, we obviously know that we're going to have to go through, towards the back end of pre-season, because the nature of the players, and the manager's been on record quite openly about the need to strengthen in that area, and he's working tremendously hard with the recruitment people and senior people at the club, with Dave, etc., to make that happen. But that will obviously affect us coaching wise towards the back end of pre-season, and with the volume of games we got, that's going to be another interesting challenge.
We're in Spain at the moment. How important is the trip to Spain and the work that goes on specifically here?
I'm not sure it's just to do with Spain. I think a trip away, somewhere in a different environment where the players are living, eating, breathing, being together. You're away from, maybe distractions that you get as being part of families or everything. But it's really important for bonding, for conversations that go on between players and staff, players and players. You definitely see people in different lights when, because you work with them at a training ground, but you don't see them when they're relaxed or they're just chilling a little bit. Or, here the beauty of a place like this is that you can be walking down, to the shops, or you can be walking down to the tennis court, the swimming pool, and you'll end up having a different conversation with 30 different players at any given time, maybe 2 players, and they seek counsel at sometimes, and some of those conversations are a bedrock of the work we do. It's not like you're calling them to a meeting. You're both quite openly being caught off guard, if you like. So I always find those quite interesting. I think that's brilliant here. The environment is tough. It's not been as warm as it has previous years, which is amazing. Unfortunately, it's going to kick up tomorrow for the big friendly we've got, which is great to finish the week off. But being away and being together is a key component in any pre-season for any team, not just us. So, but there's been a lot of hard work. There's a few tired bodies mentally around, but you broke the back of the trip. We're nearly there, so a few more sessions to go.
How's pre-season changed compared to when you were playing?
Well, we did a lot more running, and the players won't agree with that, but we did. I think we did a lot of fitness work without the ball. I think the game's evolved. I think it's certainly, for me, I'm a modern coach, even though I'm a senior gentleman, should we say. I'm a modern coach, and that isn't how I work. And the gaffer, obviously, as I've spoken about before, has been excellent about that evolution through the years and very strong with it. And, that's been a key component as well. So the work, a lot more of the work is with the ball. You can get out what you need to get out. Of course, there's some elements that need physical, but we do a lot of our physical work with the ball. We demand a lot, but that's part of it. So I would say that's the biggest thing. It's the balls are out from day one, not day 11. That's not how we work. And the players know that, but we demand a lot of them because we have to work tremendously hard the way we play, with or without the ball. So we demand a lot of it, and they certainly enjoy being with the ball more than they do without it in football work. Yeah.
And Casey's a new addition to the squad, and you've worked with him before.
Yeah, yeah. Casey is, he's a really nice person. He's got a lovely family, real strong background, and he is an outstanding talent. Has unbelievable technical ability. Needs a lot of love, bless him, and he'll know that what I mean by that. But Casey is somebody who will be a work in process. So the fans should be excited about seeing Casey Palmer in a Coventry shirt, because he will do things that will get them off the edge of their seats. That's how he plays. He's not always going to get everything right, but that side of it. When people say about unlocking potential in players, we don't need to unlock potential. The talent is there. It's not about that. It's about him understanding the work that we do, the way we work. And it'll take him a little bit of time to get used to that again. But yeah, he's going to be an exciting addition. He's a really good lad. Players have took to him really well. He knows Fanky and he knows a few others, but he's someone you can sit and have a really interesting conversation with. It's always nice for me to see them now they're dads, because I can ask them questions that are related to their children that they used to pose to me when they felt like mine. I suppose is the answer.
Is it nice to link up with those players again who you've worked with before? Yeah,
because we obviously had a lot of success, and I feel, success for Chelsea Academy at the time I was there was about winning youth cups, winning UEFA Youth Leagues, because sadly the first team were one of the best teams in Europe, and we had outstanding talented players, but they didn't get through. Now, if they were there now, they would be playing, and it's. I'm sure we have those conversations, a few of us, but I also talk about that with Shifo, because he was at top at Arsenal. And Ben's an outstanding player as well. So it's quite nice when we bounce off, and Callum at Villa. So they've played against each other. So we talk about that. But yeah, it's lovely to see how they've matured into really good human beings, because that was part of the thing as well. We tried to make them into good people. We tried to help and father figure and mould them. And a lot of people during that time should be very proud. I feel proud when I see them. But I feel proud when I see Dom Solanke, not when he puts in the net, but when he's playing for Bournemouth or Jay De Silva or Brad Collins at Barnsley, all these boys that I work with. Not just when I see Mason Mount playing for England, or Nathan Ake for Man City, or these type. I'm not named. I'm just saying they're the players I've worked with, and I'm really proud to see Andreas Christensen sign for Barcelona, because that's where he belongs to be, because that style of football is his style of football. So yeah, they make me proud, but then that makes you feel a bit older when you're thinking like that. So we'll keep going as for a little bit longer.
We're a few weeks now until the new season. Are you excited to get games back underway and into the campaign?
Yeah, well, the interesting thing this year was that pre-season started earlier, because obviously of the World Cup, and then the fixtures were out, weren't they, straight away, and it was a really exciting moment. I mean, all the players are buzzing and talking. Obviously, Sunderland is a fantastic opening game. There's a bit of history between Coventry and Sunderland, but it's just a brilliant opening game, and it was exciting to see them come. Yeah, all your work you're doing is a prelude to getting to that stage, and so yeah, you tick off. Come Sunday, you'll be thinking, the weeks are going by, and then you start thinking about what work have we covered, what do we need, like we always do. But yeah, it's the start of a season is fantastic for staff, for players, but then the pressure comes. So, I think we've spoke about it this trip with you and Al about dynamics in training grounds and how that's going to change. And it's one of the interesting things about working with the manager like this, the gaffer, is that you can really feel the change with the gaffer. When he goes into game mode, it really changes, as he was on the golf course yesterday. He changes, and that's interesting to see, but that's because he's a winner and he wants to win, and you have to admire that. So it's interesting. So yeah, there'll be some interesting people around in a week's time at the training ground getting ready.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Adi.
You're welcome.